Once the visuals come up, we'll get started here.
You got a face for this, Judy.
I do. You got to see the face.
Face for radio.
Exactly. We'll get the video feed here shortly. Mitch, I'm glad we're not the technical people. We're just,
Me too.
yeah, we're just up here having a good time.
I'm analog, if anything.
Nothing wrong with analog.
You can ask Mel, that is a very real statement.
Yeah, your chair.
Oh, my TV, come on.
Exactly. All right. I think we're about to get a high sign here.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's good. Nice. 40 seconds to a minute.
Camera.
Yeah, this camera here's the one.
Mel, could you at some point maybe do some Truman Show stuff for us, or maybe you're out of the picture, taking them, taking us? We don't have to do it long, have us like capture some of it.
Yeah.
It'd be cool to be able to share this with some people that maybe didn't
Can
do
you
it, maybe
bother?
they'll do it next time.
And you're sharing the
Some
screen.
pictures of me drinking off your Route 44. Because now I'm craving it.
I used to have. Probably is best.
Now you get
Share
your
screen.
stressing and us relaxing. Yeah.
And go back to where you just were. Out. Left click.
I think she's got it.
No. Can I take the keyboard?
Screen sharing.
Yeah, click new share. And you gotta click the share sound. You may as well.
It's like we see Melanie's.
Yeah, and full screen it.
You can breathe, Carlton. It's allowed.
And I'm on audio, but
Yeah.
this is your tech guy, apologies, and I give it to Joe.
All right, thank you for being here. I know you've heard us talking in the background, but now you can see us. We're here cooking with Mitch. I'm just here to kind of get in his way. No, we've actually already had a good time talking about food and really everything, music and life and everything. That's kind of what food is about for you, Mitch. Is it's not just following a recipe. It's kind of the philosophy of it. Am I right?
That's right, and we were just talking about podcasts and
Yeah,
music and jazz.
exactly.
And it's all that stuff. Yeah, it's funny because it's not even cooking. It's weird how you say that because it's just a part of what we do, and yeah, something I rarely ever look at it as cooking, and sometimes that's a good thing, and sometimes that's not a good thing.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So, whatever.
So we're gonna start cooking, and we're gonna have how many courses this evening?
We're gonna have 3 very straight.
You want to just do one camera straight to
Good question.
to webinar. There you go. That should be it.
Smells good.
Yeah, just do that.
I mean, surely they know how to cook tomatoes and steaks already. So
That's
we don't have to do this.
Did you see that?
That should have.
I just came for a free meal, actually.
And that you're sharing audio.
In Mel's Route 44, those two things are what I came for. That's right.
Yeah, it's talking about you, not what we're sharing.
But it means our Zoom recording, we can't see.
We won't hear ourselves. We'll hear the live stream.
Okay. We're good.
Okay, we got a message from New York.
It's good when we get messages from New
It's
York.
good.
isn't
This
it?
is impressive.
If
Yeah,
it's
it's,
legit there, then
Yes. she was messaging and then she stopped. I hate that when you see the dot and then they disappear.
Yeah. Where were we before the 3 dots?
Heirloom tomatoes.
Heirloom tomatoes.
No, I mean in life in general without the 3 dots.
Oh.
Like, you know, that's what I'm, Carlton, I was asking a philosophical
so,
question.
I think so, question mark. Okay, we're gonna, okay.
Joy.
Wasn't enjoyable.
Joyce needs a little bit more miles in her life.
I say, let's, okay,
And go ahead and get closer.
listen, you're a quick texter, but you're a little
Yeah,
slow.
you got it.
Okay.
We want to try to roll again.
Yeah. Yes, have them keep going.
Fast,
Okay, good, go.
Yeah,
Go.
we were talking about heirloom
Okay, here we go.
tomatoes,
Here we
so
go.
we're gonna walk through it here.
Right, we have an heirloom tomato salad, it's super straightforward. Then we're gonna go into ribeyes and local green beans. And then at the end, we have a dessert of local heirloom apples and cereal milk. So we're gonna kind of bounce around because that's how you really cook, because we don't wanna drag this out for too long. So make sure that you already have your steaks out at room temp, and if you don't, you can go ahead and get those guys out and go ahead and get them seasoned so you don't cook them when they are cold.
So Mitch, I've heard this before, steaks are always supposed to be at room temp if you want them the perfect flavor.
Right.
So how long, I mean, you can't leave it out for like, do you leave it out before you go to work? I mean, what's the before you cook? I mean, is it like an hour, 2 hours?
I try to leave it out at least 2 hours.
Okay.
It's not going to spoil on you, but
Yeah.
I look at food differently. Just touch it, look at it. But yeah, it needs to come up at room temp.
Yeah.
And then we're going to get back into some of that cooking reaction in a little bit, right?
Yep.
So I have the steaks pulled out, and then I'm going to go ahead and get my cream going for the dessert.
So you're already working on everything else
Correct.
all the time.
And that will take a little bit of time. So all we're gonna do is pour some
Oh yeah, look at that.
in here. I'm gonna kill that heat.
Now, Mitch, I noticed before we started, you already turned on your heat on these pots and pans. When I was cooking, I'd turn on my pot and pan and stick it there. You already had them hot.
I try to leave them hot. You know, for instance, when we were cooking it hot and hot, we used a bunch of French irons, and they would all stay in a hot oven.
Okay.
So when you pull them out, you're already working with something that's already warm. Not only does that speed you up, but you want to try to season food and not skillets. If that
Gotcha.
makes any sense.
Yeah, yeah.
So we've got that going. Now we're just going to move into some lemongrass. So hopefully you guys have this. All I did was cut the ends off, chop it in half, and then all we're going to do is break it.
And it smells incredible. I know you can't smell on your screen. And it would probably be delayed anyway. The odor would get there later, like the sound, but that does smell incredible, the lemongrass.
And it kind of smells like Fruity Pebbles, right?
It does.
It's-
I'm gonna get another hit. Yeah,
It's beautiful.
that's good.
So we're just going to take that, throw it in here. Then we're going to take some ginger. And look, this is not complicated, so you don't have to worry about
It's
making
not a
it.
pretty root, is it?
It's not a pretty root, but it's so beautiful. So you can take a spoon and clean it up.
It looks like my foot, actually, but it's pretty on the inside.
I'm just going to clean this guy up.
Where do you get a lot of this stuff?
You know, we try to get, these came from Native Son, these tomatoes came from Native Son, these cucumbers came from Native Son, these apples came from Dr. Simpson, these steaks came from the Neon Pig. Using a little bit, that came from Kermit's, so wherever we can source it from.
Yeah.
Right now you can find so much available locally because of the season that we're in.
Right.
So go to your farmer's market, go to Native Son, go to the Neon Pig, Cherry Creek Orchard, Memory Orchard, just go to all your mom and pop shops. So then we're just going to run a knife through this. It's fairly simple. And that goes in here.
So you got the cream, the lemongrass, and now the ginger.
And I'm just gonna let this steep on low until we get finished. So turn this guy all the way down to about a 2. So that's it. That's pretty simple, right?
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
We're gonna fortify it maybe at the end with a little bit of sugar and a touch of pepper, but not much. So now we can just maybe finish this tomato salad and let it marinate. So I'm gonna take some heirlooms. And we were just talking about how we've all been eating these heirlooms from
All summer long.
It's cool because whenever you get into these vegetables like this, today we're really just cooking with good ingredients that are straightforward. You don't really have to do a lot to them. So we're not trying to reinvent the wheel. And that's really not how we cook anyway. Of course, my style has changed over the years, like everybody's style has changed. Right now, I think we're just really into minimal technique and really good ingredients. Take some onion, cut it however you like. I like all this food to be very rustic. That's just like what I'm into now. More of like a representation of just like a forest floor than a fine dining restaurant. You know, something a little more approachable. You know, not. We try not to cover everything up with a lot of bullshit if we can help it. Whenever you use all these really good ingredients.
So you said your styles changed. Kind of walk us through that process of.
Yeah, you know, in the beginning, you're so young, you're eager, and you're learning everything. And then we were talking about earlier getting into the science of food, right?
I got a book here.
And I remember when I was at Hot and Hot, I was like, Chef, we should really get into some of this molecular. And he was like, this is not the place for it. He was like, this is a seasonal ingredient-based restaurant.
Yeah.
Which is what the pig and Kermit. Pick this book up. It's called On Food and Cooking by Harold McGee. If you ever have any questions of what exactly is happening when you cook, this should tell you.
And it's neat because you don't have to read it every time you cook, but you reference this a lot, don't you?
Yes, I reference it all the time. And it's also nice just to be reminded of correct technique.
Right.
That's we preach it all the time. If you can see, we have this thing in the company called fold your towels. So like this is disorder, right? And this is order. Right. So in any technique, whether it's cleaning, whether it's how to caramelize, sugars, whatever it may be, we try to stay in that book.
And when you were doing the salad, you kind of mentioned, I just touched some of your beans. Sorry about
You're
that.
good.
You talked about being very minimalist, and so it's sort of you kind of like going back to the basics. Is that kind of your style? Would that be a right format of that?
I think it's it. And I think we're able to go back to the basics and be minimalistic because we do study that.
Yeah.
You know, we try to understand what is the complex practical chemistry. And once you learn it, then it allows you to remove some steps if possible. Does that make sense?
Right, yeah.
And we'll talk about this when we get to the steak.
Absolutely.
So now I'm just gonna add local fresh cucumber. This really makes the dish. And like I said, I like these rustic cuts.
Oh, that's good.
think we're back on.
Gosh, yeah. We're back on.
We're good?
Yeah.
So somebody had a question in the chat about the onions. So Mitch, I'll let you kind of talk about where those onions ended up during the black screen moment.
Sure. So
Something is back, says this.
basically, this salad so far is just rough chop heirloom tomatoes, cucumber, and the onion. And I just slice it. It doesn't matter. You cut it however you want to cut it. My bowl is a little small, so I'm going to transfer this over. I have some more beautiful local cucumbers here.
They're phenomenal.
And now we have, I'll put just a little, you can see not much, a little bit of the finely chopped pepper in there. Not enough to really add any heat, just to make it a little more well-rounded. We added garlic, we added gypsy dog.
Was that lemongrass that went in the cream?
Yes,
Yeah.
so in the cream is just cream. You take the lemongrass, cut the ends off of it, cut it in half, and break it. Throw it in there.
A little bit of ginger.
Take your ginger with a spoon. You simply peel the skin off, chop it up, throw it in there. Super straightforward. Now, the secret to this, and if you don't like cilantro, because some people do not, because they have, what is it? It's not a reaction, but they have that gene where it tastes like soap. Feel free to use basil, but I love cilantro, and it's actually one of those herbs that you can eat the stems. It doesn't have a very good shelf life, so we keep it wrapped in tin foil in the restaurant. And
Can I see you have the gene? I don't
Yeah.
think I do.
Yes, yes.
I want to see if it tastes like soap or not. I don't have the gene.
Yeah, and some people do.
That
We're just
tastes
gonna-
incredible.
Can we give you some soap to be sure?
Yeah, I'm sure I don't have the gene.
Then we're just gonna wad it up and
There's
run
soap
it.
over the sink.
We're just gonna run a knife through it.
Well, and since I interrupted,
What you got?
Mitch, I
Keep
have a
going.
question that people are wanting to know, what should they be turning the oven on?
Yes, you can. They can. So I have all of these pots. I have them warm. You can. I have this oven on 425. But I'm also doing a cooking class, and it's not exactly like real cooking. So I'm just trying to be prepared. So if you're at home, and for instance, I have something that you guys don't have here. I'll tell you, like fish sauce. But if you have some ingredients that you like to cook with, like we're listening to Miles Davis right now.
Yes, and it's phenomenal.
It's a lot like
Some
jazz.
of the viewers don't like it, but we do. So.
Right, we do. And that's the only thing that matters. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
So here we just have so now I'm just gonna, you can't put too much cilantro if you love cilantro, or if you love fresh mint or basil. Just make sure that it's a fresh herb that holds moisture. Preferably one of those three. Tarragon would work, but it's not something I would put rosemary, or I wouldn't put thyme in it. So we have that. This is to 1 cup of oil. Normally there's a ratio of 3 to 1, but we like ours to be pretty strong but neutral. So, and right now all we're doing is real ginger scallion sauce that we make in the restaurant. So if you have something at home that you really like a touch of soy,